these colors. Who's this guy?
Everybody gets a little time with her.
But now we get
Is he here for this one? I don't see him. Why would he be?
Why would he be?
He's the one that proposed the turnaround.
He doesn't have to sit in front of the firing squad.
No.
Full house.
Yeah, I know.
We'll see how this one goes.
Oh no, don't worry about it. It's not a problem.
If I'm going to do it, because I've had a long day.
You get a look at William Street.
I'm not going to do it.
We're not ready to start yet, but we are live streaming, just so everybody knows, in case you don't want anything to be recorded. Step out in the hall.
That's Fort Capretto development.
yes.
With the 40s.
Yeah.
John, how are you?
Not bad. By yourself? Been a while.
He's got a finger and I
Been a while.
Bring your pillow for tonight and sleeping bag.
I'm ready.
Where we're at is, yeah.
FYI, I know the Raleigh.
Oh yeah, I talked with that Jay from there.
Right, but,
They're trying to eliminate the whole sign now. So, it's in the hands of the owners, which is fine with me because I'm not the middleman anymore.
Yeah, so that's what it's really not necessarily nice to supply car, because right now, they're there.
okay, got it. Got it. So it's fine. I just didn't understand the sentence.
Okay.
Okay, we can.
I don't even think it was the right. It wasn't even the right business.
we went-
right?
we
It was
did
still
spend a
on
lot
the
of
old-
time.
Good, how are you?
They're very good.
No, well, yeah, the original
And
one.
I just didn't
Yeah.
Had to
understand.
close that out when they submitted the paperwork. And then I got your
Kind of
plan.
destroyed it to me, but I was going to shut them right up because it's so good.
And I've got a pause in between. Cindy said I need to
Our next meeting.
on writing.
2 weeks from today.
Is that what it is?
He wants to read that himself? Me to read it?
It's gonna be the 21st.
21st. Okay.
So Carla will be out of town for that.
Is that the fellow with all the pictures? Oh no, that was a woman and all the pictures. Yeah, I know what that one is too. Yeah.
Okay, I've got 7 o'clock. If you wouldn't mind, we're going to stand and pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hope that's not a bad omen for tonight. Roll call, please, Cindy. Here.
Here,
Here.
Here. Here. Here.
Here.
Okay, welcome everyone. This is a meeting of the Planning Board of the Town of Lancaster. Please keep in mind that we are an advisory and recommending board and not a final decision-making body. At this point, we'll ask the board members to take a look at the meeting minutes and review the meeting minutes from the April 2nd Planning Board. Ask if there's any additions or deletions. Hearing none, look for a motion.
Motion to approve. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. All right, we'll move on to our communications list. We have a lengthy communication list this time, so while they're reading through there, I will make sure that I read something. If I can find it here. For anybody planning to address the planning board tonight, persons may address the planning board at any regular planning board meeting. Planning board will hear the concerns of the public for a period of 15 minutes per project. Persons desiring to address the planning board
should raise his or her hand and be recognized by the chair. Once at the podium, give his or her name and address to the secretary. Speak directly to the planning board members, not to the audience, using the microphone. And then we'll make sure that we fit that into our schedule. All right, we'll move on now to our first case of the evening. Preliminary plat plan for project number 2413, Zero Ransom Road, a 3-lot minor subdivision. Variances on lot 2 and 3 have been granted. Hello.
Good evening. Jason Burford with GPI. Appreciate the board inviting us to come, and appreciate being first on the agenda. So we have, obviously, we're just looking for a recommendation for subdivision preliminary plat approval. As mentioned, we've received the ZBA variances finally. So that's all we're asking at this point, and then we'll move on to the town board for their review.
Okay, any questions or comments from the board?
I noticed on the plans that along the lot that's adjacent to the ditch, there is, or a creek, I don't have that plan up, it's either a floodplain or wetland or both, and you've got it mapped as avoidance, and that's good, but when you put up the silt fence and you do the lot clearing and everything, they see that, but then it gets turned over to the property owner at some point, and then they start filling and have no clue that they need to go to around there. So I was just wondering if there's some way to put on the property surveys or on the deed on that lot 3, I think it is, that there are restrictions on that.
Yeah, I think we can add to the final lot survey that will be
And
prepared.
a
A note that, and, you know, designate that is floodplain.
Make sure it's mapped on there and that a permit is required from the town for any action. And that would be probably helpful to Matt in the long run. It could be one fewer thing he has to deal with later on.
Anything from Matt,
That's right.
as long as it's only that.
Well, it's an easy one, but I think it would clean it up in the long run.
Sure.
Because properties change hands, and then we have violations all over town that will never be addressed because no one knew.
Yep.
That'd be great. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, any other questions or comments from the board? Ed, anything from engineering?
No, the drainage was fine. The only thing for town board approval is going to be those cross drainage easements. Once they're into the attorney's office and they're approved for town board approval, but stop this board from moving ahead.
Thank you. Emily, anything from legal? Just what he said, ditto, right? Matt, anything from building department?
Just a reminder that any recommendation should come with that sidewalk waiver along the Ransom Road property.
Okay. So I would be remiss if I didn't read the recommendation piece. Cross drainage easement to be filed prior to the town board approval, which I believe we just spoke about. Waiver from Town Code Chapter 310-12B is necessary, which I believe is the sidewalk that you were just talking about, Matt. And then issuance of a floodplain development permit. Is that,
We're avoiding the floodplain, so
well, we're outside the flood.
Yeah, floodplain would
Yeah, so we'll be good.
would be required for any action in the flood zone, but identifying it on the permanent record, and you're avoiding it, that's not my issue. The issue is future property owners who don't know.
right.
So identifying limits of the floodplain on the permanent deed and survey for the property owner
Yep.
for avoidance purposes.
Okay,
That'd be great. Okay.
great.
We finished?
Yep.
At this point, look for a motion.
I'll move we approve with the 3 items mentioned.
Okay? Look for a second.
I'll second as long as those conditions are on there.
Okay.
Certainly.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Against, say no. Motion's carried. We will make our recommendation for the town board.
Great.
Thank you very much. We're just catching up on our paperwork. Okay, next one we're going to call up is project number 2954, Wood Spring Suites. Hello.
All right, good evening. My name is Rebecca Spur. I'm with BME Associates. We're the civil site engineers for the applicant, Indus Hospitality Group. Also with me tonight is Jet Mehta. He's the president and CEO of Indus Hospitality Group. John Ott, he's vice president of construction and development. Peter Vars with BME as well, and then the architect for the project, Daryl Martin. So last we appeared before this board in early January 8th of this year. At that meeting, we discussed the project in depth. We heard from residents and answered questions regarding the project as part of the public hearing, and subsequently that public hearing was closed by this board. The board then proceeded to ask questions and begin the seeker review and answering the Part 2 EAF questions. As part of the minutes, the 18 questions were gone through, and 16 out of 18 of those questions regarding impacts on land and flooding and open space, aesthetic resources, transportation, traffic, character, they are all answered no to small impact with no further study being required by this board. There were 2 questions, question 3 relating to impact on surface water, and then 7 impact on plants and animals that were unable to be answered. And we're here tonight to kind of provide an update on those 2 items. So I'll first start with the wetlands. So back in January, we did submit to the New York State DEC as part of this the project. The full 3.9 acres of the parcel was submitted, and we hadn't heard anything after 90 days, but we did actually just receive a letter from the DEC. It simply states that there may be wetlands and or wetlands of adjacent area regulated by the DEC on the subject property, and it is the consultant's job to delineate said wetland. So we actually went out to the site this week, a wetland specialist, to delineate the wetland boundaries and actually have a map for you to determine the wetland and the adjacent buffer area as well. So we prepared a map that shows the wetland limits and the buffer, neither of which encroach into the 2.5 acre lot that the hotel is proposed to be developed on. So we're actually the limits of our disturbance on the easternmost side at the minimum point. It's about 22 feet east of the wetland buffer area. So thus we believe the development would not impact those lands, and we wouldn't need any permitting. Per the standard operating procedure, the limits will need to be field verified by the state. So we'll work on obtaining that approved JD from them. Regarding the impact to plants and animals, it was requested that a tree survey and analysis be completed. So since our last meeting, we have submitted that analysis for the town's review. The analysis was prepared by Davey Resource Group, a reputable company with offices and employees across North America, and the town has also recommended them as well. And then that survey was completed in March of this year. So as part of that tree survey, we also included a letter of intent summarizing the report, exhibits provided as well for the site, an overlay of the site with the trees inventoried, as well as a proposed mitigation. As discussed with this board, the project is within a town-adopted environmental resource protection overlay district, so that ERPOD 4 limit. Roughly 1 acre of the site, the southern portion of the site, does fall within, of the proposed hotel site, does fall within those limits. The lot is not within any other of the ERPOD maps for the town. So Davies tree analysis included a collection of trees that were greater than 6 inches in diameter at breast height, which is per the town code. The limits also of the study extended beyond the disturbance limits of the property in each direction. The analysis did conclude that the area study, which was a total of about 4.5 acres, the overall structure of the woodlot is similar to that of other wooded areas in western New York, and the overall condition was rated fair. The study did not conclude the wooded area would, and the disturbance of that area has any characteristics of a climax forest. The letter of intent also includes our responses to, there's 5 criteria in the town's code that the board can consider when reviewing development within the ERPODs, which includes supporting information that the disturbance, with this disturbance of the wooded area, we are not fractioning the woodlot nor disturbing any endangered species of flora and fauna. And as indicated in the report, there's 63 trees within the ERPOD limits on the site, rated as good and fair, that we are proposing to mitigate for. The town requires a 2-to-1 replacement for the trees being removed within the ERPOD per the code. Thus, 126 trees would need to be planted on site, which is not feasible to plant the 126 trees. However, the applicant is proposing the landscape plan provided. It's an on-site landscape package of equal or greater value than those 126 trees. The landscape plan provided was also valued by a licensed landscape architect using regional typical pricing. The would charge to source and plant and mulch all the materials with the 1-year maintenance guarantee of those plantings as well. The landscape plan, we believe, enhances the ecosystem of the area, and with the mitigation proposed and the supplemental information provided in the report, we believe there's no impact.
Rebecca, would you like us to pull up the landscape, if we have the landscape plan? Would you like us to pull that up? There are a lot of residents here that have not seen some of this stuff, and it might be beneficial if we brought that up.
That is fine.
While you're speaking to
And I
it.
can pass around.
Well, we haven't seen it.
The landscape plan?
I haven't seen any of this. And that's one of the things we were talking about before the meeting started, is that we're not ready to move on as a board if we haven't, I mean, you may have sent it, but I don't know where it went. So I have never seen the mitigation or your tree survey. And I'm a little, I don't quite understand why you only looked at the southern portion of the property and didn't look at the part of the property where the whole thing with the hotel's going.
So the study, the tree survey, well, so the tree survey was submitted.
Under the ERCOG, but what about seeker?
No, so the tree survey was completed for 4.5 acres, so that included the entire.
Oh, okay. See, we haven't heard that. Or
So
seen that.
that was in the tree survey submitted to the town.
Okay, well, I'm just saying that.
Middle of
so
April.
that If we have to table seeker tonight, that's why, but it's only 2 weeks out until the next meeting. So,
There was a problem on the town end.
On the
We-
town
you
end.
did- You did submit,
Yes, back in April, we submitted the, yes.
I believe you,
Yeah.
but
No.
I didn't even know you'd done it.
Okay.
So, what I'm saying is that I'd like you to continue, but just so you know, I'm kind of sitting here going, Dave's confused, because I have not had a chance to read it. Okay?
I can see that.
Yeah, so I apologize for that, but I just found out today that it existed.
we tried to mitigate that before, when we realized there was a problem, but it was, this morning, if you want, so.
Okay.
And I don't understand what you mean about how many acres of old trees are taken down and how you're mitigating. I mean, I just haven't read the report.
Well, so all these questions are all
Right.
kind of answered in that report in depth. You know, we go through exhibits, we go through the breakdown. But the study was done, you know, for the town requirement, it was done for the whole site.
Okay.
And then our landscape plan is provided again in that,
But
in that package that we
how,
sent.
would you
there,
say again, you're taking down 2.5 acres of trees, give or take. How do you mitigate 2.5 acres of really old trees? I mean, you can't plant, I don't know how many of the really large
Well,
ones are still on this parcel, but what time of year did you do this work? In the winter?
The tree survey,
Yeah.
a couple months ago, March.
Okay. What about, this is the time of year where like warblers are coming through, and this is exactly the type of property they go to. How do we address those things when you did your survey in the dead of winter? I mean, I'm just throwing that out there. So, I'm just wondering, go ahead and continue, and we'll figure out where we are.
Well, those are the only two items that we kind of thought we needed to address, and if we can't talk about
What,
one of them.
One of the things, correct me if I'm wrong, is the ERPOD doesn't cover the whole site.
Right, and that also kind of confuses me, because when I drew the map, it did.
Right, the map that
But
the
they
town
didn't use
adopted.
the map I drew.
Yeah, the map the town adopted, the ERPOD doesn't cover the whole site.
Okay,
So, as far as the ERPOD requirements, it only addresses the part of the site that the ERPOD covers.
right.
The rest
But,
of the site, they do what they want.
well, under seeker, how can we possibly look at this with a good, hard look if we didn't address the whole parcel?
Yeah,
But sorry.
if the map is drawn, when it's not the whole parcel, and that's what's documented, that's what we have to go by.
That's what we have to look at.
Well, and the tree survey does include an inventory of all of the
Yeah,
trees.
the tree survey, they went ahead and did the whole site.
We're just providing
Okay.
mitigation
But
for the
I'm saying
ERPOD.
Mitigation only talks
The
about,
mitigation part
is only the what's
under
on,
the ERPOD is small. but
Correct.
Yes.
Under seeker,
they did the whole site.
Can you
but
pull that up,
mitigation
Cindy?
doesn't cover the whole thing.
What, no, it only has to cover
We're only being required to
the
mitigate.
area of what's under the ERPOD.
How can you not do mitigation under seeker, under the whole thing, the entire parcel? I mean, we have two sets of regs, we have ERPOD and we have seeker. Seeker is broader. Seeker is wider. Seeker requires a hard look at whatever the project is.
And
Not
I-
the part.
I'm only speaking because I,
Right.
for whatever reason, I did get the report, so I went through it. What's being affected of the ERPOD area is 0.6%. So, you know, this site is 0.6% of the total ERPOD area in that area.
You guys think what you think, I think what I think. We are.
Rebecca, was there anything else that you wanted to add to the conversation?
It was really just the wetlands and the, and
The
to
one that
discuss the
shows
tree
like
survey.
half
But, so if anyone
the
has
land,
questions,
the
I mean, it's
southern
hard to have
portion of the
questions
lot.
when you.
Yeah, you just blew that up.
Oops.
She's looking for a different.
Yeah, it
There you
shows.
go, yeah. That's it there. You see the.
Well, my concern is what we discussed the first time you were here. This is a very old forest. I don't agree, and I've been down there a couple of times in the past week, and I don't agree that a lot of the condition of trees is poor, fair, or good. I don't know how you can tell until they bloom what they are. Certainly, there's dead trees on the site, which appear to be those ash trees that are dying all over, but I think, you know, depending what everybody reads on these reports, I think the town should consider hiring their own expert to save this forest, if that's where it goes. I think it's a significant forest. You see it from the thruway. Everybody knows it, driving both ways on the thruway. And it's something that I personally think should be protected. I think this is totally inappropriate. That's my own opinion. I'm not speaking for the board.
Cindy, can you move the time? Can you move it for
Go.
fire?
Yeah.
Scroll down.
Doesn't want to go?
There you go. That's good.
Ah,
Yep.
thank you. I'm good, thank you.
You good?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we just need to see Maple, the thruway and Maple Road.
Any other questions from the board? Comments?
I read through that report. I mean, I thought they addressed everything in there that we needed. I agree with that. It was only 0.6% of the 182 acres of tree growth.
Ed, anything you can add from engineering?
No, they still owe some comments back from engineering, but, you know, we're still waiting to receive those.
Emily, anything from legal?
No, I don't have anything.
Matt, anything from the building department?
Nothing other than the zoning relief that's necessary.
You are aware that you would have to go in front of ZBA, correct?
Yes, for the variance, for building height,
Yeah.
yes.
Let's see what we got here. I think we got public input now, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or what do we do?
I'm sorry,
Do we open up for secret first or do public?
I think there is open.
We'd have to make a motion to reopen it, right?
Yeah, what do you want to do? Go through?
Secret, or we want to do the public input first?
I did have one other comment, just Rebecca?
Public input, public hearing first.
Rebecca? That's okay. The DEC letter,
Variances, much as it's just-
there was a comment in there about SHPO. I assume you've got a no effect.
Yes, we have no
effect letter.
But you always, you know, public.
Yeah.
15 minutes.
At this point, we're going to start our 15 minutes and ask if anyone from the public would like to speak. Please come to the podium. You got your timer, Tony?
Barbara Regal, I live at 101 Maple. I moved into that house because of the way the nature was, the land, the animals. I have watched what the ash have done to my backyard, to the sounds, to the water. My water table keeps getting higher and higher. I have less usable backyard space every year. Ash trees have died, I have to consider that. The throughway noise, atrocious. Never realized how much all of those grown trees make a difference. Now I face it. It's not easy sitting out back and enjoying. The plant life, I believe, was a trillium. It wouldn't have been blooming 2 months ago. It was a protected species, if I remember right, on that property. I really hope you do look into it and take care of what we have and how fragile, and sometimes development does not exceed the beauty of what we are destroying to build for yet another hotel. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public? Certainly, come on up.
Hi, Andy Buscemi, 96 Maple Drive. This is my wife, Kristen. I won't repeat myself from comments I made in previous times, but can I just ask a question on the 2-to-1 tree replacement that I heard that was mentioned? What is that rule and regulation? Because I heard 2-to-1 tree replacement, and then I heard, let's just do landscaping instead. And if that's a regulation that was put in place for a reason, I think we need to be looking at that. Does anybody know what that regulation is?
Matt, do you have that information?
Yeah, if I could, I think.
That's super important. Okay, if it's 2 to 1, that's in place for a reason, and we should be looking into that. That's all I wanted to mention. Oh, and now my wife is.
Okay.
Yeah, go
Hi,
ahead.
I'm Kristen Buscemi, 96 Maple Drive. Thank you. I did send an email to Cindy this morning to forward to the board for review, and I would like you to please display, Cindy said it would be okay to display the photos that I sent. I also included in the email a petition written and signed by the residents of Maple Drive and Lancaster. I have a copy here, and the petition, I do have the link in the email. There's over 365 signatures on the petition. It's growing. We clearly and in detail outline our concerns and objection to this project. Much of it is backed by research that we have done. So we have the petition. While she's pulling that up, they're talking about mitigating air pods. I think, how will the impact on our privacy with a 4-story hotel be mitigated? How will the impact on our safety be mitigated? How will the impact of the lack of trees to provide a buffer for that noise to the thruway be mitigated? These are all very serious concerns we have as proud residents of Maple Drive. The flooding, as you can see, is devastating. It happens year after year. It's not going away.
That's not at the site.
It's not at the site, but it's on Maple Drive.
Yeah, but it's down, it's not at the site.
Right, the site is elevated, so that's another concern. A 4-story hotel on top of an elevated land, are they going to be leveling the land to help accomplish more privacy for the residents on the street?
I think the important stuff here in these images is the nature, because the stuff that I see coming through our backyard in that area from that forest, I mean, I was surprised the other day. I saw this huge, this huge giant turtle.
Yes.
Actually, I took this picture the other day. That
was in our backyard.
It was
Yeah.
amazing. And we see turkeys going across there all the time. This thing, literally, it is a nature preserve in my backyard. Like in every way possible, the species that I see coming through shocks me every day. This thing shocked me when I mean, this thing was like this big. And I'm telling you, that's what's going on back in those woods. So, and take that for what that's worth.
I know Sid will be coming up to show the FOIL request we did of crime that has taken place and put pressure on law enforcement in the town of Lancaster. It's pretty significant. So
Some of the
I don't wanna
traffic
take up
issues that we were
too
talking
much
about previously, some of the previous meetings here. Constant accidents around the corner on Maple Drive in particular. And that, what we had talked about with the turning right out of there and dealing with sidewalks and all that still is all on the table for me as far as I'm concerned, but it's an issue.
Tracy, can you please show the picture of the tire tracks and my son standing in front of them on our front lawn? Or, sorry, Cindy. Well, it's in the email, so I don't want to take up anyone else's time. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
listening. We appreciate it.
Is there anyone else who'd like to speak? Please.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Miranda, 38 Maple Drive, hamlet of Bowmansville, town of Lancaster. I've lived there since 1982. You can't stop progress. I know there was a throughway there when we bought the house. I knew that. The Red Roof Inn, we couldn't stop. We do not need another hotel. The Red Roof Inn is not full right now. and they just added some sweets thing that they're doing. Those car accident shots, I took those. I heard that car going. And it happens every day. I got passed over the double yellow, and then when I honked my horn, because I was going the speed limit, I got promptly flipped off. We don't need the more traffic. There's enough crime. Last summer, I was in my backyard. You ever seen the movies in LA where they got the helicopters circling? That's what was going on. Some guy left the Red Roof Inn apparently with a knife, running through the woods, and they were tracking him down. It's terrifying. Terrifying. And if we're going to have to deal with more of that, more of the crappy traffic, 3 semis in the last 3 weeks, semi-trucks with trailers down our street, the taxation on the resources, police, fire rescue, Bowmansville is a busy guy. They're busy. They handle everything. We don't need to add another hotel. There's a beautiful plot on the northwest corner, other side of the thruway on Transit Road. Used to be a hotel. Go there. I don't see it. We've been around for well over 100 years. We don't need another hotel. So I would hope that you would think if you would put this in your neighborhood, down the street from your house. Just because you could doesn't mean you should. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
Good evening, Sid Regal, 101 Maple Drive. I forwarded emailed Cindy earlier, but I got a FOIA report from Lancaster Police. There was 870 calls at 10 hotels in 2024. They range anywhere from basic calls to drug-related, prostitution, people with guns, fights, everything under the sun. Red Roof Inn had 123 calls with the highest rate being prostitutions. And the one with the most was actually on Freeman Row Motel 6 with 64 calls. We don't need this. We don't need these calls. They said here a couple meetings back that they were bringing in transients. These transients are leaving their narcotic needles on the road, Narcan, everything under the sun, laying on the side of the road on Maple Drive. We do not need that. Last person that talked said that Bowmansville is being overtaxed as it is. They can't be overtaxed anymore. Volunteer firemen have gone down from $80,000 down to $40,000 in New York State. They can't keep doing all this. We don't need another hotel to keep adding the burden to this, let alone the police. More police, more taxes, everything, I don't know. But we do not need another hotel that is, quote, bringing in these transients or long-term stays. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Regal, did you want me to? Mr. Regal, did you want me to read your letter?
If you'd like, sir,
Sure.
I appreciate it.
I will close out the public comment by reading Mr. Regal's letter that he sent in. There's an introduction. The consideration of a new hotel in a residential area raises significant concerns based on existing data from similar establishments. An analysis of law enforcement and emergency response calls to 10 hotels and motels in the area highlights troubling patterns of criminal activity and disturbances which have negatively impacted public safety and community well-being. Law enforcement and emergency response data received through Lancaster Police Department by FOIA over the past year, which we just heard all that, about the 870 calls requiring a response from the Lancaster Police, Bowmansville Fire, or LVAC, to the 10 hotels and motels. The community impact and public safety concerns. Presence of hotels with high crime rates in residential areas poses a direct risk to residents. Increased criminal activity, including prostitution and drug-related incidents, can degrade the safety and quality of life for local families. Furthermore, the strain on local law enforcement and emergency services diverts resources from other critical community needs. Quality and reputation of similar hotels. The Red Roof Inn has an overall rating of 2.1 out of 13,154 reviews. Other comparable hotels in the area hold ratings ranging from 1.8 to 2.7. These ratings indicate consistently poor service, management, and security, raising further concerns about the impact of adding another similar hotel. Conclusion, given the documented issues associated with existing hotels and motels, allowing a new hotel to be built in a residential area would likely introduce similar challenges. The data clearly suggests that such establishments attract crime, require frequent emergency interventions, and negatively impact community safety and quality of life. Instead, efforts should be directed toward developments that enhance the well-being of residents and contribute positively to the neighborhood. For these reasons, the proposed development of a new hotel in this residential area should be reconsidered in favor of more community-friendly alternatives. And again, this was a letter that was sent to us from Mr. Regal. At this point, we'll close the public input section.
May I ask, please, if we've emailed, will that be considered? It's an email with you and Cindy.
I'm sorry, I missed the question.
Since you're closing the public, more people wanted to speak. So I emailed something. Would that be considered if I don't get up to the podium, please?
We'll include it as part of the comments.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And it's not that, just so we're clear, it's not that we don't want to hear you. It's, 15 minutes is what we were supposed to allow. We went a little over, but want to make sure that we hear everything that people have to say. So I think we have to open up seeker then? Reopen seeker. Need a motion to reopen seeker?
I'll make a motion.
Look for a second.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. So I believe we're on number 3, if I'm not mistaken, right? So impacts on surface water. Proposed action may affect one or more wetlands or other surface water bodies.
No wetlands on the project.
No wetlands, right?
Based on the report.
No.
So we can say no on that one?
Oh, that was me.
No.
No, okay. So then we'll move to number 7.
Still looking up.
Impact on plants and animals. Proposed action may result in loss of flora or fauna.
Well, I think this is the point where we're not sure.
Right.
Not to your fault. We're just, I realize it's online now. I could have seen it. I didn't see it. I didn't go to the website to look.
And again, apologies to the applicants because this was clearly not on your fault. You did what we asked you to do. It was an internal thing that, unfortunately, we believe it. We know it's resolved now, but it doesn't solve the change where we are.
The reality is the people that saw the report indicate that it's likely, non-contributory, but I mean, it would be kind of a moot point with this much community input to make an opinion without, personally seeing it. I would be forced to abstain if anything. Like I said, I doubt it's contributory. Two people I trust have seen it, so.
I think that's a fair point. The fact that, all the board members have not had a chance to review it properly will not allow us to do anything on this one, is my opinion as well.
So I think at the end of this, I'll probably make a motion to table till 2 weeks, so we can have it at the end of all of this. I think that's the only responsible thing to do.
I'll second that.
Well, I don't know if we're ready to make it yet, but I appreciate it.
I do think that's the prudent move at this point.
Yeah, give us a little more time.
Or time, not just a little more time, but time to review it if you haven't reviewed it, which clearly.
If it was sent today, my system's so slow, it'll take me till tomorrow to open it. So.
It was sent today.
Got to get another
internally
gerbil
from
in
us,
there.
but Not by the applicant. It was, just so we're clear, it was sent a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago by the applicant.
I'm assuming it's a multi-page.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
The exhibits you were seeing, many exhibits before.
A lot of stuff gets sent, I can't open it all. So I may have to come up to the town hall,
We can,
I don't mind at all.
Please do.
Yeah, I mean, we'd be happy to submit hard copies if that is helpful. We
Very
can
helpful.
place
It's
that.
gotten everybody.
Okay.
And within that report, just as a question, is the explanation for the mitigation of the 2-to-1 from just the protected area was 128? That would.
That is
be
all
the-
summarized in the report.
Okay,
yes,
so then,
yes.
then that'll
The
offer some
breakdown.
explanation the next time.
Rebecca, I think that it'd probably be a prudent move also to, while you're submitting that, also try to speak to the timing of the report when it was done, because it seems like that's still an outstanding question as well.
Yes, that is on our
For us
list,
to
too.
go through all that and then still have questions on that.
The other thing we can do relating to seeker is provide just some additional information on the Part 2 questions, kind of go through and emphasize the hard look that was taken at each one, kind of provide a summary or a memo to you guys to help with your hard look as well.
That sounds fair.
Okay.
So, did you want to make a motion?
I would like to.
Okay.
I would like to make a motion that we table until the next available spot to review after we've seen the information in the report.
Okay.
Please.
Anyone like to second that?
I will second that.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Hopefully, the applicant could appreciate the fact that we're taking our time, given the fact that there's a lot of community involvement in this, and we want to make sure we do the right thing for the community. Thank you.
All right.
Is it me or is it like 1,000 degrees in here?
It's 1,000 degrees in there.
Holy cow. I'm in a full game sweat.
Yeah.
It's when you're in
You can turn the fan on. It's those 3 round ones that are on, one of them's not.
All right, well, can't hold it.
Table.
Table cannot.
7th inning stretch. Hey.
Oh, thank you.
Tony just doesn't want to.
Hey, you're always looking out for me, Tona. Ever since I was a little kid.
He just doesn't want to take over.
Your papers are gonna blow off.
That's a
Call for the righty. Call for the righty.
Cindy, are you ready?
Next man up.
Hold on to your paper.
Okay, we are now going to move on to our next case, which is, let's see here, project number 2432, Next Era Energy. Hello.
Good evening, Alex Amering with Costage Engineering on behalf of NextEra. We were here a month ago and spent quite a bit of time kind of bringing the board up to speed on the project, so I'll be a little more direct tonight. Obviously, at the last meeting, the seeker potential involved agency letters were going out. We were waiting for the 30 days to elapse. That has completed. During that time period, we accomplished a number of things. We did address a code enforcement letter that was issued. We addressed the town engineering comment that was issued. And we also progressed a number of the outside agency reviews, sewer, water. While we don't have approval at this point, we do have a good feeling that they've gotten eyes on it, and there won't be any surprises there. As part of the resubmission, I'll just point out a couple things. We did include a SHPO letter just to put that item to bed. We also included a letter on wetlands, which has been a popular topic. Not that it was discussed at the last meeting, but And then also, more specifically, a sewer email, we do have to do a public sewer extension, so we included some correspondence with the Erie County Department of Sewer Management, kind of outlining the process, which does have to be coordinated with Uniland, who still owns most of the business park there, but Uniland's obviously in agreement with the hopes that will be one item that'll kind of help facilitate additional projects coming forward. So I don't think I want to belabor it. One point I will just point out, the plan that's in front of you, we did cut 2,500 square feet off of the building, is the budget numbers kind of came back in as often the case. Things are not getting cheaper. So the building got a touch smaller, but I don't think you'll object to that. I think at this point, I'd be happy to turn it over for comment. Well, I would like to, the one board comment that I think everyone was in favor of, we did select a seed mix for the whole perimeter that will be a meadow mix that will just be mowed once or twice a year. So it'll have more a wild aesthetic. And again, that's everywhere outside of the fenced enclosure.
All right, thank you. At this point, we'll ask for any comments or questions from the board.
No.
I appreciate you looking at, I looked up your Ernst seed mix.
Do you like it?
Yeah, well, it is what it is, you know, it'll fill in, it'll be a little slow. Thank you for considering that, because the front we want to keep by the road kind of more urban-y. But from there back, so I guess what I'm seeing here is a building with a big gravel pad. The back, inside the fence is industrial lay-down gravel pad.
Yep.
And then you have a substantial berm, higher in the front, and the berm changes in height, of course, and then landscape.
Yeah, berms are a tough thing. They can help from a visual mitigation standpoint, but they can also look very forced if, you know, there's not some kind of undulation to them. So
Do you have a max height on that berm?
I think it's around 6 feet.
Yeah, there might be a 8-foot spot in one spot or something, but if you're mowing it, you gotta make it slope so you can mow it. But
Yeah, I think everything on the site is graded 3-on-1, which is typically accepted. Both the ponds and the berms are 3-on-1, which is generally maintainable. Steeper than that, then you typically have to use erosion control matting for restoration too.
well, I just want to say thank you for thinking about something besides long grass. So thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Nope. Ed, anything from engineering?
Couple things. The site itself, we finished the review actually this morning. The site engineering they resubmitted to our comments were fine. Except I didn't get the memo out today, but it'll go out probably tomorrow. Regarding the Eastport area in general, and the Uniland issue, just so everyone's kind of on the same page, when Uniland got that whole project approved in 2001, I guess, whenever it was, they brought in sewer off of Walden Avenue straight up, whatever that road name is, into the development there, and stopped it. They didn't carry it over to the pavement. They just brought one line in. So a couple of questions have come up. Uniland is researching. We don't know if that line was ever dedicated to the sewer, division of sewer. If it hasn't been, it has to be. Uniland, along with NextEra, researching that. And then there's extending that line down Eastport Drive. Right?
Yeah, Eastport Drive.
Yeah, to Uniland site, or to NextEra site, and whether or not that's going to be a private sewer or Uniland decides to continue with public sewer because as additional development goes in there, there's going to be other people tying into it. That's a discussion between Uniland and the Division of Sewer. I've got emails from the Division of Sewer. I have the requirements. It's pretty straightforward. It's nothing that won't get done. It's just going to take some time. There's 2 permits eventually that will get given to this project. One is building permit, obviously, and the other is the PIP permit, which allows the site development. Site-wise, and I don't, Matt, unless you've got anything from the site perspective, but they've met all the conditions from the site perspective. This board could recommend approval of the site plan. They will never get a building permit until the sewer is taken care of, because it's part of the building permit process. They have to have sewer tap from Erie County Sewer, so that's kind of the hammer on that end of the whole process.
So that would mean that we wouldn't have to make that a condition of the...
Correct.
It's already written in. Can't
For the
go
site
forward.
plan, correct.
Right.
It's an automatic condition of the building permit.
Right.
By code. Because I said, if Uniland has to, I mean, the Division of Sewer wants some testing and everything else done if that was not dedicated. I don't know if it was or wasn't. 2001, I just asked for the records out of archive. I'll hopefully get them tomorrow and see what's in there. But seeker can certainly, coordination date's gone by, right? Yeah, so seeker can be done. That's not a problem. And I mean, it's its board's decision, but I'd be okay with a recommended for site plan approval. Move ahead on that aspect of it.
Okay.
As long as they're continuing with the deal with the Division of Sewer.
Okay, great. Thank you. Emily, anything from legal?
I will just add, we are waiting on the landscape maintenance agreement and the stormwater control facility maintenance agreement to be signed and filed and sent back to us.
I think NextEra's council was reviewing it.
Yeah, that would be required before the town board would approve site plan.
So
that
we
could be a
we could do
condition.
our approvals
Yep.
potentially, and still, recommendations, I'm sorry, and still,
Those two will be conditions.
there'd
for
still
the
be,
town board
for the town board.
Yep.
That's on our radar. I think the longer lead time is the sewer. There's no
Sure.
way around that. So unfortunately, we have to coordinate with Uniland, like Ed was describing. The section of sewer here is a 10-inch that was installed, but I think because a lot of the park hadn't been subdivided, they didn't go through with the dedication, not knowing how that would play out, but 30 years later, I guess we'll find out. So.
No foresight.
Matt, anything from the building department?
By letter dated April 24th, all comments from the Building and Zoning Department were addressed. You should have those copies in hand. Nice job.
Good. Okay, at this point, we'll open up for any public comments. No? Hearing none? Then I think we can, seeker? Need a motion to open, right? Yeah. Look for a motion to open, seeker?
Make a motion to open seat.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Okay, and I think this is a short form. If I have that, I do. Okay, will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations?
No.
No. Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of the use of land? No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? No. 4 is not applicable. 5, will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway? No. 6, will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? No. 7, will the proposed action impact existing public or private water supplies? No. Public or private wastewater treatment utilities?
No.
8, will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? Nope. 9, will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources? No. 10, will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? Nope.
No. I'd go back to the one before about natural resources and just make a comment that they are mitigating the loss, whatever open space they're losing by making an attempt to mitigate through the use of appropriate plants. I'd like to give them some credit for making an effort.
Alex, you got credit.
Yeah.
Take that to the bank.
You get a thumbs up.
Take it when you can get it.
That's right.
Thank you.
So I'm sorry. So
That's okay. And number 11, will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health?
No.
So I will look for a motion.
Negative deck, so moved.
Second. Oh, sorry.
Whatever, that's fine.
John? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Okay, we'll make a recommendation for a negative deck. And then for site plan, for a motion,
I'll so move again.
Larry. I will second that, Cindy. All those in favor, say aye.
Condition,
with the condition.
With the conditions, sorry about that. Yep.
landscape and the stormwater plan.
Yep.
Stormwater plan, landscape agreement, maintenance
John,
agreement.
or Larry, we
Yes.
just, Cindy, did you get those put on there?
Consent to the amendment.
Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. We will make our recommendations to the town board.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's okay, we got time, we're gonna take a second. It's buried. That's okay, we're still waiting for Cindy. Chipotle. Would have been better yesterday, or Monday. I can't hear you, Cindy.
The stacking ladder that's
Stacking ladder? Oh, okay, all right. Okay. All right, we're gonna move on now to project number 2262, Chipotle.
Good evening. I'm a little old school. My name is James Baglioli. I'm an attorney for Bennis Development. I was here a number of months ago. In the meantime, we've been working with Ed to resolve all the comments. We're just at the end zone with that. We did get the letter from building, and we need to apply for variances. 3 of them are existing conditions. Just to walk through the site, I know the board's familiar with it. There's the Regal Center. We own all the land around it. We own the Regal, the Hobby Lobby, the building with the Verizon. This is the site. It used to be the old Pizza Taco. Before that, it was Quaker Steak and Move. It's now no longer there. That's where the project is. We own the Dairy Queen next door, and we own the Starbucks. So all the abutting properties owned by us. We did get a letter requesting that we see variances for the side, rear, and front setback. None of that is changing. That's all existing. And a variance for the stacking. We did have a stacking study done of the 2 other Chipotles we own. Your code requires 10. We stack 4. That's the maximum they ever stack, because it's not a drive-through. You order on an app. It's ready, you get notified, you drive up to the window and pick it up. So it's not like Starbucks or McDonald's or anything like that, where you can order in line. There's no ordering. So we did apply to the zoning board for those 4 variances, maintain all the existing conditions on that. And we did, I believe, Ed, resolve a number of our issues, and the last few ones we're working on now.
Right,
They're very small, they're very minor at this point. I would ask the board to make a secret determination. There's no wetlands, no wildlife. It's a completely paved lot. It's actually going to look a lot better when we get done with it than it did. There'll be more green space. And there's no curb cuts. Everything stays the same. We use the existing curb cuts. Nothing changes. That's pretty simple. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. It hasn't really
Okay.
changed.
That's great. All right, at this point, we'll open up to the board for any questions or comments.
No.
Looks good.
I had a question on the plan about a piece of concrete that I don't understand. Cindy, do you have the site plan to bring up?
We can point out here. I have it here. Do you know where you're looking? I can come take a look if you want.
Right here.
You mind if I come up?
Don't mind at all.
What is this?
That's probably a hot box. Yeah.
Oh, hot box. Okay, good enough. Thank you.
I can tell by how we landscaped and everything.
If
It's a hot
neatly
box.
landscaped
Yeah.
piece of concrete.
Yes, it's a hot box.
Thank you. That's all I needed to know. I'm done.
I know we're familiar with those in Erie County because we can't put them underground, so,
No, I'm okay, but everything is just labeled concrete.
yeah.
There's nothing that said hot box or anything like that.
The way we landscape.
It was
around
so neatly landscaped, and it's using arborvitae, which you can get away with here because there's no deer.
No deer here.
Thank you. I'm done.
I would also, if the board is willing to make the secret determination tonight, I would respectfully ask that if you put us on for the June planning board meeting, we're going to ask to be put on the July town board meeting in writing, so we don't lose this building season. Chipotle had this slated for a 2025 build opening, and if we go much later, we're going to miss it. I'm not guaranteed it'll be a 2026, so I would ask that.
We'll do our best.
Yep.
Without-
I mean, number one, secret will come through this board, and it has to be approved by the town board.
Yep.
Then he applies for his variances, that works within that time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're not, we can't make any.
Yeah, I know, we have already applied for the zoning, the variances, so that application's already submitted.
We'll,
Yep.
certainly. We'll work as quickly as possible.
Where are we with secret?
We have to do it.
We're going to do it today.
Yeah, okay.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Ed, anything from engineering?
No, I'm just waiting for some responses on some follow-up comments we made.
Okay. Emily, anything from legal?
No, I don't have any comments.
Matt, anything from building?
No, sir.
At this point, we'll open up to any public comments. Okay, hearing none, look for a motion to open up seeker.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Okay. Take a short form also. Will the proposed action create a material conflict with adopted land use plan or zoning regulations?
No.
Number two, will the proposed action result in change in the use or intensity of use of land?
Nope.
Number three, will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community?
No.
Number four does not apply. Number five, will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway?
No.
Number six, will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities?
No.
Number seven, will the proposed action impact existing public or private water supplies?
No.
Public or private wastewater treatment utilities?
No.
Number eight, will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources?
No.
Number nine, will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources?
No.
Number 10, will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems?
No.
Number 11, will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health?
No.
Okay, I will look for a motion.
I'll make a motion to recommend a negative declaration.
Look for a second on that motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. We will make a recommendation to the town board.
Thank you very much.
And we will do our best to work within your schedule. But we can't make any promises.
I'm not asking for any promises. Just giving the board information. That's
Okay.
what we do.
Yep.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
A long time. Thank you, though.
Thanks.
Moving right along.
Rick Robinson, 5144 William Street.
If you wouldn't mind just holding a second, Mr. Robinson.
Too quick for us.
Yeah, you jumped the gun on us a little bit there. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hold you up, but we were just needed to get our ducks in a row, if you would. Please, feel free to proceed.
Rick Robinson, 5144 William Street. Here submitting, just want to split up some land we have so we can sell a house on the lot. We want to sell the house and not the land, let's put it that way. Okay. So let's split it up.
So you want to split the one house off, which is there, and make the second lot next to it, and then skip around the back.
We want to sell that, nothing with this.
Okay, the one on the corner you're keeping.
Yes.
And is your house across Seabird or across William?
Our house?
Yeah.
Right.
Across
Okay.
the
Across one.
I don't live far.
This is my father's house, who passed away last year.
I'm
So
sorry to hear
I'm
Sorry.
trying to sell the house, but of course it's connected to the whole plot. So we're do that and not sell all the land, I have to break it off and come to you fine folks, which is making me crack up as I'm listening to all these major things happening in town. I'm not trying to do that, I just would like to sell my father's house. And the lot next to it, which used to be 2 lots, but of course you guys changed the rules in the past couple of years, so 1790, now it has to be 100. so
We were in front of the board 8 years ago. We had 2 lots there, 2 90-foot lots. I guess it's since changed to 100-foot.
Yeah. So we changed it, and now my father's house will sit on 140, and the lot next to it will be 140, which is going to make somebody super happy if they want to buy it. And that's all we're looking to do today. So the rest of that,
As the road is fixed.
Well, somebody's gonna have to go over the river and through the woods to get there because Seabird's blocked.
well, that's a whole other conversation.
You guys got time for that?
No.
Any day, Carl.
3 years now,
Any day.
driving
Let's
around?
not open that wound.
Twice a day I go to that house, I got to drive. Oh.
Yeah.
So there's a little piece behind the other neighboring 3 lots.
That's got my father-in-law's name written all over it, doesn't it? Yeah. He wanted, obviously this was, well, he owned this whole thing at one point. He sold 3 lots, 15 years ago, whatever it was. But he wanted to keep that little sliver behind him, which I don't think these people even know because they have pools on it now, they have sheds on it. There was an ice rink this winter on it. So we're just gonna keep, we kept the 3 lots, so we'll just keep. I don't know what we'll do with that eventually, I don't know. I don't think we can just give it to the people. We're probably gonna pay a surveyor and do all kinds of legalese stuff and.
Well, I'm just thinking about Ed's job with drainage, how you design your drainage.
For all the drainage there, I think pretty much goes to Seabird, if I remember right. So
Pardon?
most of the drainage there runs out towards Seabird.
It drains out to the front.
Drains up the front.
Yeah. There's no issue with the back.
Drains to the west.
Probably kept that for access, just to get to the properties.
The land behind it.
It doesn't, we're not voting on that.
No, I just.
Let's think about the left side.
What I'm saying is that, this little piece, okay, so we got the existing house, the new lot, and the 3rd lot.
So this is basically a true flag lot.
Yeah.
A flag
Sell the house.
sideways.
Kind of like a cleaver.
That was 140 or 100-foot lot. We
Got it.
proposed to increase that to 140 and then sell 140.
Got it.
Since we had 2 90-foot lots, but those I guess are no good anymore. So
So there's no,
2 not conforming lots. We're good to go.
and we'll be back in a couple of years. We're thinking maybe a hotel here on the corner.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I'm going to be really honest with you. I was going to go there because, as you probably are aware, there's a real teeny tiny lot that's getting a house shoved in on William Street. So I was going to come back and question, that works. If my 90-foot could have been approved, but I would really right now just like this approved so I can sell my father's house.
Okay, let me just say this, we're not the zoning board.
I know. But everything starts here. So.
And we're just gonna talk about your project, so we can keep this moving along.
I know exactly where you are. I'm good.
Any questions or comments from the board?
I can't think of anything with this.
No? Ed, anything from you?
The only comment I made is a town ditch that runs across there. I asked it to be noted on the drawing and in the deed so that future property owner knows it's a town ditch and they can't go fill it in.
Are you aware of those?
And my question back to you on that's going to be, I'm currently have no intention of doing anything with that property, so wouldn't that be addressed in the future
Well,
and revisited?
what will probably happen, should this be approved, is that we'll do it conditionally on that being written into the deed or the,
Yeah,
or
'cause you're
some
gonna- I mean, you're
agreement,
gonna have
just
to
so
write
it's
up
passed
deeds
on to the
for
next
those
people, then if they do what they do, they do.
Right, I know that.
Right, so as you're writing those deeds, just, the parcel that includes the ditch, make sure if your attorney's writing the deed, he includes the language in there that there's a town ditch there.
Just so there's a paper trail that the next people, if
is
they
it
do
a town
something
ditch?
wrong.
It is, yeah, that I
Because
checked.
we can't find anything that,
There's a town ditch map that goes back to the 50s.
Well, he's the town engineer.
we're back to 1800s and we show nothing
And
other
the title
than we own.
search, there's no easement granted.
I doubt there is an easement, but the town, but is a town ditch.
So will the town take care of the now wetlands we have there? That used to be just a ditch, but now it backs up and it's now, we used to be able to drive a tractor across it. We always cut that for hay before them 3 houses went in. Something happened upstream of that ditch or downstream, and now we have, this is literally, I don't know if legally they're wetlands, but it's, we can't cut the hay anymore, we can't drive a tractor on it. It was never like that for the 100 years my in-laws and their parents owned it. So since the town owns it, are they gonna take care of that issue?
I can't answer that, that's up to the highway.
Because it's ruined, I mean, it's ruined our property.
Yeah.
If it's yours, we're gonna say it's ours and it's our problem, but if you're saying it's yours, then,
All we're saying is that we don't want the ditch filled in.
right, nor do we.
Right, so that's.
But we'd like it to drain also,
Well,
which it's not anymore.
Yeah, but that's the restriction we want in the deed, is that, obviously, as long as you want, you know what's there, but.
Yeah, obviously.
50 years.
That
from
gets
now,
filled in,
the
it's
owner
gonna be a
gets
bigger
it.
problem.
We just want them to be aware, hey, there's a town ditch here.
That was always something, even 15 years ago, and we could drive across it, no problem, with the tractor. Now it's, you can't even get close to it. It's never dry.
So you want something that just says it's ditch, not stating who's responsible for anything, just
No,
it's a
show it-
ditch,
just show it.
it has to stay ditch. That's what you're talking about?
Yep, so
Yeah,
location,
that's just language on the deed, it's literally written on.
I'm just making sure that there's no language that says it's your ditch, meaning mine, and you're responsible for it, because that's not something I want to get into right now.
Nope, if it was your ditch, I think you could do what you want with it. You could dish your
I'm
ditch.
just clarifying, that's all. That's
Ed,
fair.
anything else, Ed? Emily, anything from legal?
No, we just have to come back for secret at the next meeting. Not the 30 days yet, so that's all. Oh, we do need to set a public hearing.
So the seeker would be ready for the next meeting.
Okay.
And they would come back for seeker at the 5/21 meeting. For a public hearing, we need the 10 days lead times before we can get it into the deed. So that would be the 6/4 meeting. So the question would be whether we want to come to 2 meetings, so 3 meetings in a row, or if we are to do the seeker review and public hearing together on 6/4.
What do we have to do on our end?
Mostly
Be here. Be here.
Just show up.
Be here, answer questions.
I can afford that.
You see the
Do
way,
a little spiel again before.
yeah, the way the chair asks the questions,
Yeah.
comment yes, no.
It's not gonna be anything.
Faster, so is the answer to that question.
I mean, time-wise, you're still within the.
You're waiting for the same
So we could
Might as well just come
Get
back
both
once.
done the same night.
and it's not,
We're not telling you what you.
Whatever's most convenient, I guess.
so we would schedule then the public hearing and do the secret review at the 6/4 meeting.
Is it also Wednesday?
Yes, yeah, they're always Wednesdays.
They're always Wednesday.
So anything else on?
Matt, anything from building?
The only item is what was identified April 9th regarding the property in the residential district. You might want to consider sidewalks, waiver, not waiver, based on its proximity to the school and the town's efforts for interconnectivity and pedestrian traffic. Same as the other project. If you look at it where it is.
Yep.
On the lot or on my father's house? So you're saying we did the backup to put sidewalks in on my father's existing property where the house already is?
Are there sidewalks along Seabird in front of all the houses?
There are not.
No, but
Then you want a waiver. So you probably want us to consider a waiver from the sidewalk requirement.
we're trying to get away
Trying to
from it.
get sidewalks built, but your father's house would have a sidewalk and the new lot would have a sidewalk and that would be it. Because the
Correct,
3
because-
houses to the north have no sidewalks.
And neither do the other side.
And neither are you going to put one on your vacant property
But somebody that buys it and builds a house will have to put a sidewalk,
unless
unless they get a waiver.
unless they request a waiver.
So how do we go about
I would
requesting a
say
waiver? Is it?
part of the request to us is that we put in a condition that you wanted the sidewalk waiver for your father's house and the lot that's
Is that something we just do right here now? Is there
When-
paperwork we have to
We're not
fill
at
out,
that
or-
point of the process,
When we get to the point we're doing site plan approval.
which would be on the
or
4th, maybe the
subdivision
4th, if that's what you decide.
approval, Which would be, right, on the 4th. Remind us.
Okay.
So are you okay with coming back on the 4th for both? Seems like it would be probably the way to go.
That's what we have to do.
Okay.
I get a for sale sign out front. 13 months paying for an empty house gets expensive. So,
Motion for, oh, public, yeah, okay. Make a motion to, I'd look for somebody to make a motion to set a public hearing
On June 4th?
for June 4th.
So moved. And I'll second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Okay, we will see you back here on June 4th.
sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Kids did a great job in not being disruptive.
Thank you. Get in trouble and have to do that.
There you go.
I didn't ask for any public input on that.
No problem. You can get that.
Yeah, well, when there's a public hearing, I think there'll probably be some public input maybe.
I mean,
Or not.
sometimes I question mine, so, I don't know.
There's 3 existing houses, so 3 smaller lots. And then there's nothing, and then there's exactly. And it would be. I would like to see sidewalks.
Okay, we're going to move on to our next project, which is Project 3211, 4401 Walden Avenue.
Hello. Great. Good evening. My name is Lee Taylor, and I'm an engineer with Longtail Engineering, representing Mr. Blazak and Blazak Development at 4401 Walden Avenue. We're looking for amended site plan approval. Currently, the site has multiple tenants. The proposed action is to install a 6,000 square foot second story addition within the warehouse space, which is located right here. So this is North Walden Avenue. As part of the proposed action, this will be office and classroom space used for a dental business. The tenant will be Osteopure Inc. That current tenant also occupies this space above Empire GMQ, which is a countertop and cabinetry showroom. As part of this, we'll be asking that the current special use permit for stone countertop storage in front of the showroom that was previously approved November 21st, 2022 for 27 north spots to be utilized for storing countertop granite and other stone materials, that will be rescinded as that material would be moved to the west side of the building, which is shown on the site plan. So the proposed use, there are 81 spots required. There are 93 spots provided on the site. As far as exterior, what the public will actually see as part of this, Mr. Blazak is going to do some updates to some of the windows and minor updates to the facade of the building. There will be no changes to the stormwater drainage, no changes to the site plan. It's a purely interior project. The only major thing is that special use permit to be rescinded that he had previously obtained to store stone material. With that, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, great, thank you. Look for any questions or comments from the board. Really?
I was just looking at my notes.
Okay.
I don't have any.
Perfect. Ed, anything from engineering?
No, we're good.
Emily, anything from legal?
We're good. Just come back for seeker on the 21st.
Matt? Look for any public input at this point.
Matt? No need to motion, right? It's just a
Yeah.
presentation, so.
Yep.
See you on the 21st.
Wait, the secret when? In session?
Next
The
meeting.
next meeting.
Then I'll do this too. Right?
Or,
Yeah.
not even, it's,
Okay. Yeah. So we will see you back here on the 21st?
Okay, sounds good.
thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. This looks like an old little goodie.
The 70 times.
Yep. Wow. 2019.
Neil Conley.
We've been working on this site for a while.
6 years from what I just saw.
Well, you know, they're getting better. It was pretty tacky there for a while. It's getting better.
Is that your official response?
Yeah, it is. You know, they're working at it. They're cleaning it up.
Choice of words.
Well, it's an
Nothing?
industrial site.
Nothing?
You know?
To your punster. Do you realize that it's tacky relative to...
Thank you.
To asphalt paving? Trying to keep you awake.
You do realize what I have in my hand, right? There we go.
And you didn't even use it. We gave it to you, you didn't even use it.
Soon, once she gets this up, I'll behave.
Not cooperating?
No, it's not, it's on the other side.
Oh. It's not going on this side for some reason, I don't know why.
I think we own this site. You can start.
Yeah,
Unless you need that.
do you want this? Nope. Okay.
let's go.
I can start. So we'll call our next project up, project 3014, Doman Asphalt at 70 Gunville.
Hi, hello, John Barniak with Carmina Wood Design, here on behalf of Tolman Asphalt. Actually, Anthony Pandolfi was the project engineer from our company that previously worked on this, but he couldn't make it here tonight, so I'm filling in for Anthony tonight. But this project is located at 70 Gunville Road. It consists of the construction of a hoop structure to enclose existing topsoil operations for Tolman. The structure is approximately 65 by 80 foot footprint, 26 feet in height. We've received Erie County DPW approval. Mr. Schiller has issued engineering approval, and tonight we're requesting the planning board's recommendation for site plan approval and answer any questions or comments you might have.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board?
Is it going in the same spot the current one's in? Covering the pile that's there. Current topsoil been there, right?
What was the question?
Is it going, where's it going on?
Oh, I'm sorry, you didn't see that. Sorry.
Oh,
I think the question is it going in this current?
No, it's going right behind it. There's a current one there going behind it.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
No.
Ed, anything from engineering?
No, we worked out the drainage easement, filed. So, good for there.
It has been filed?
I believe so.
Okay. Emily?
No, I don't have anything.
Matt?
Nothing outside of that special use permit. Pretty much it.
Do I have that in here? I don't think I saw that, Cindy, I'm sorry.
The storage area is screened from adjacent trestles, does not exceed 60 feet in height, is not closer than 50 feet from any property line. Industrial activities, fees, stormwater discharge permit shall comply with all provisions of such permit. Renewal of this permit is biannually, and a copy of the entity business license is submitted to the town clerk's office.
Those are all the conditions, right?
Of the special use.
Number 6 of 24.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you aware of those?
Yes.
So look for a motion.
I'll make a motion. Approve it.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. We will make our recommendation to the town board with the conditions of the special use permit. Great. Yep. 6 years later. All right.
Is here for the last one also.
I'll take the last one, too.
Oh, good, I'm glad. I was worried, I wasn't sure who
I
was
thought we ran out of applicants.
Picked everybody out.
This one's a little newer than the
Sat here
last.
so long, I think you deserve a fatty beer after.
Mike.
Why are you being impartial? Why don't you go to
It's right
the
across.
Poppy Grandies?
I think we all deserve more.
Okay. All right, we'll call up our last case for the evening. Project number 4091, 5956 Genesee Street.
All right, John Barniak with Carmina Wood Design again, here on behalf of Roy Hamilton. He is the project sponsor for this site. This site development is located on the north side of Genesee Street, approximately 1,400 feet east of Gunville Road. The existing Hull family home and farmstead is located on the adjacent property to the east. And an existing national fuel facility is located on the adjacent property to the west. So north is that way. The I-90 is on the left side on your screen. So this site development will include the construction of 11 flex warehouse buildings with a mix of warehouse, shop, and office space. It'll also include a self-storage building with a standalone office at the front of the site. So that's right here, the storage units. All the other buildings are the flex warehouse buildings. The site construction will also include stormwater management systems, utility improvements, septic systems, and multiple parking areas. The site is approximately 22 acres, zoned light industrial. It's currently vacant except for 3 existing billboards that are planned to remain on site. The billboards are right there, and then the third one is right there. So we are anticipating a subdivision of this site into 3 parcels. All parcels will be owned and operated by Roy Hamilton. To date, we've received review comments from both Ed Schiller and FSO that we're working on addressing currently. And tonight we just wanted to present the site to you, and I'll turn it over to you for any questions and comments.
Any questions or comments from the board? I was wondering what a flex warehouse was.
Flex warehouse? Well, it's a good question.
It's a metal building, they don't know what's going on.
Spec units?
It's what Uland's building up there on
On pavement.
Eastport. Those blue buildings.
I know now. Thank you.
So you're gonna have some small offices up front, so 1, 2, 3, it looks like bigger warehouses.
Yeah, so this site will be phased and built out, and the initial phase will consist of the buildings on the east property line, primarily the first and second building and the roadway. That is planned for Roy Hamilton's construction business, for his storage of materials, office space, just needs more room. So he wants to get those built first, and then kind of the phasing will move forward from there.
Is there outside storage? Outside storage of this?
No,
This location?
no outside storage. There is a, we have it shown as that circle right there. That's a concrete silo for his business.
There's mixer? Batch? Plant?
I'm just thinking about the Hull House facility that's.
Right.
What kind of buffering there is and what kind of effect that this could have on historic buildings, and they're old and there's.
Right.
I don't know how deep depth bedrock is from there, but is there vibrations and there's
shallow.
things that's going to affect those things?
Right.
Is there a buffering plan?
Currently, we have a landscape plan that has heavy vegetation along the east property line. As far as the effects on Hull Homestead, we have submitted this to SHPO for their review, and we're just kind of waiting on the process for an effects finding.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. I worry about the Hull House, and I think, you know, if it's landscaped well and the buildings are attractive as much as you can have for construction, storage business, you know, it's zoned properly. How much traffic would be in and out? I mean, the ones that are like you run the units, the ones, the storage units, yeah, storage units, those are private, are rented out?
Right, yeah, rental, self-storage units.
Self-storage.
Yep. I mean, I don't foresee this use generating a lot of traffic.
Okay.
Certainly, it's more for just employees, deliveries, drop-offs, for materials. That's the intent.
You got 11 warehouses, you got employees there, you have 46 storage units, you could have a bit of traffic.
Yeah, quite a bit. It's like Tennessee Street.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
got
yeah.
Top
You got Top Warehouse across the street.
Yeah, I mean, it,
How far east of Gunville are you?
1,400 feet.
how close
Oh.
to pavement,
Quite a ways, it's closer to pavement.
closer to pavement. Pavement tees out.
I'm sorry, you're right, it is pavement road.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, pavement road.
Because I was going to say that wasn't, if it's Gunville, it's not really right on the hall. Okay.
Pavement road.
Any other questions or comments from the board? No. Ed, any comments or questions from you?
Engineering wise, no, we've submitted comments back, and then coupled with that is the subdivision. If they're moving ahead with the subdivision, it ought to be being reviewed simultaneously, because the stormwater system is one system that will be covering 3 separate parcels. So that's a little tricky with cross easements and agreements and everything else. And access, you only got one driveway, right?
There is one driveway.
Yeah, have to be shared access agreements.
One in, one out.
So that'll have
It's
to,
one in and a left, right out.
so that'll have to all be coordinated as part of the review. So I would suggest that the draft agreements be written and submitted for review by legal. And then, I mean, I'll leave the map, but I mean, I think they ought to be making a subdivision application as well as a site plan application.
So there's a lot more to follow,
Yeah.
is what I'm hearing. And I know you're just here for the first time.
Yeah, 'cause I wouldn't do seeker without doing seeker both on the subdivision and the site plan.
Emily, anything from legal?
Nothing more than
Matt, building.
Yeah, my letter dated April 30th, several items, discussion, one of them being subdivision. So there is the special use for the public storage facility. Looking for some elevations and floor plans of buildings. You did make mention tonight that Mr. Hamilton's business is going to be housed on the property. We'll need the type of business and which building he's going to occupy, just to be sure that he doesn't fall in the special use requirement within that district. The site was disturbed for, I guess, for survey purposes, and there's an open violation out for that, so I'm going to recommend installing erosion and sediment control tomorrow morning, if not sooner, because it's got to get protected. There's cell running off of that site. It's been rained for 3 weeks. We're going to get that thing protected.
Understood.
And then there were a couple of modifications to the site itself, so relocating some dumpster, light pole heights, monument sign locations, things of that nature. So, and are you sure you didn't get that email around the beginning of the month, May 1st or so? Or the comments, you said you got it today? Oh, no, I received it. Oh, yeah, all right. Thank you. That's all.
Okay. Well, we certainly will be looking forward to seeing you come back again.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thanks for sticking around to the end.
Have a good night.
Thanks. Anything else that the board would like to discuss?
I went to a training on transit-orientated development. That was in West Seneca, actually Tuesday night. And part of the presentation, they actually had a beautiful shot of downtown Lancaster from with Fatty's Brewery prominently displayed as an example or as a suggestion of transit centers, things like that.
Was Mario Lopez standing there?
No mention of the roundabouts, but certain things like West Seneca, where they have their transportation, all the buses come into one place, Apple Tree Mall, the old Apple Tree Mall, just stuff like that. See if you can get transportation to spur development in those areas. It was an hour.
Yeah.
We went about an hour and 20 minutes. Let them slide on the 20 minutes. That was it. But Lancaster was in there.
Good. Any other board members want to make a comment, question, concern? No? Okay. Ed, anything more from engineering? Emily, anything from legal?
No.
Matt?
Oh, I just sat through the second round of DEC wetland updates, trying to navigate their latest and greatest versions. It was an interesting hour. They're still flying and building it at the same time.
Yeah.
So,
Is that the one in May? Is that the one in early May that was online?
Yeah,
Yeah, I was on that too.
I took the picture.
So, anyway, at the local level, I think we're going to know a lot better information than our DEC in Albany.
Didn't they say that too? Haven't they said, I think they publicly said that too.
Yeah. It seems like they want it that way
So we're going to
too.
have to dot our i's, cross our t's, at least have those discussions had. There's notated somewhere in minutes that we're going to be generating. Eastport was beat to death. I don't even understand how this even a question regarding wetlands, other than what may have grown because the project did not develop over the years. But it's an industrial complex mentored development. Earlier this afternoon, I sat through the battery energy storage facility presentation through NYSERDA to assist municipalities with reviewing these sites, we do have an application that's going to be coming in. The good thing is that there's some funding that's going to provide peer review of any project that a municipality has. I will strongly urge and I will definitely employ this peer review opportunity just to get more professional eyes on the project as it comes in. Outside of that, it's not 10.
Anything further you want to talk about the sidewalk discussion? I don't need, I know we're running late.
The residential district requires a sidewalk. There's nothing more fundamental than that. We've got 100% of Aurora Street developed from the southern boundary right up into the village, and we're missing sidewalks. William Street from Transit Road to about Lake Avenue, Alcoa Road, we're missing sidewalks. And the whole point is connecting these neighborhoods together, making walkable communities, getting these kids to a park, to a bus stop. They're missing.
To school?
It's just it's a result of development. That sidewalk to nowhere eventually goes somewhere. So it's a 200-foot stretch of sidewalk today. 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from now, it could go somewhere. But that is that you don't have to back into it 15 years later at now, I don't know, $170 a yard for concrete, as opposed to when it was $40, $50 a yard. That's all.
I look at Kenora Street, same thing. You know?
I wonder if there's any grant money the town can look towards for projects like that. You know, to help people like these folks. I mean, you know, a developer, okay, you know, but
I'd say most of that grant funding is geared towards the underserved and or economically disadvantaged communities.
yeah.
Which Lancaster won't qualify for.
Oh, yeah.
The town was awarded a grant by DOT 4 years ago, 5 years ago, for sidewalks to be put in on Pleasant View from Transit to pavement. And they gave the money back.
Keep back grant money.
Yeah, but they didn't take it.
Should have called me. That's-
The board voted against it.
oh.
Okay. Well, I don't know, unless anyone else has anything else to say, I think that I will make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. Tony, gavel, meeting adjourned. 15 minutes later than I thought.
You put it away? You can throw it in there.
Just so you know, I don't do the hops. I'm pretty good at doing that. Besides that, hey Joe, I hope you cooled down because my hair is all disheveled now because that fan is going so hard.
I don't know, I haven't thrown it off.
I'm gonna be out of town.
Okay, all right. Cindy, John will be out of town for the back.
Yeah, I got it. Yes, cruise.
Enjoy your cruise.
Where you headed?
Caribbean. Yeah.